Hey guys, it is Travis from Build with Travis. I recently saw these Dungeons and Dragons questers on Amazon, and then I actually ran into them in Target when I was at Target not too long ago. And while I'm not so sure because of the stylized nature of these and the size that they could work with my Lego miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons, maybe they could. Maybe the size will be perfect for that. I'm not sure. I'm going to look at these today and kind of see. I did pick up one of the smaller ones not too long ago, and I ended up getting the Silver Wormly, and he's really cool. Might could use him in some way in Dungeons and Dragons, but of course, since he's a Wormling, he's a little big for the Lego figures. They've also got bigger figures that I got an Aarakocra in, and these are kind of, I think, all designed for kids. Their parts come off so you can interchange them. Like if you get a different race or a class, you can swap out their bodies and make them different. This one is the paladin body, and of course his is a little different because he's got wings, and not all the other races have wings. But the bigger ones are cool. I haven't gotten any more of them. I was more interested in these little ones. I actually found out about them and saw them online before I found the bigger ones. But I'm excited to open these up with you. I actually found online a chart with the product numbers on them that are supposed to allow you to look at the numbers and figure out which one is inside. You can probably barely see this, but if you see these numbers here, the last few numbers are what you want to look at and compare to the chart to see if you can get the ones that you actually want. I really would love to have the Kobold because my daughter's campaign that I run with them, they've got a Kobold companion that runs around with them, and so I just think that would be neat to have him, even though he'd be too big for the Lego minifigures. If the numbers are correct, I should be getting a gelatinous cube and a mimic in these. We will see. Let's pop them open and I'll show you what all comes inside. You actually get more than just a figure that you build. The small ones also have interchangeable parts. I think it might be a little harder to change those out on to other figures, but maybe not. Maybe you just have some really wacky looking stuff, which I think is kind of the theme here, to kind of make things funny. As you can see, the figures themselves come in a big D20. The bigger figures actually come in a tower. I thought this would be really cool if they had made this into a dice tower. It would have been easy to do that, but they didn't, so you kind of just get a big plastic tower that I guess you could use as a miniature. But the smaller questers come in this 20-sided dice, which opens up. So this would be cool to use as a 20-sided dice if you wanted to have some real fun and knock over a lot of figures, minifigures that are on your table, or you could put dice in this. Looks like one of my numbers was correct. Each one of these comes with a little sticker set. So this is the Mimic, as you can see, several little stickers on there. You also get a sticker to put on your check mark sheet if you'd like to do that, to check that you got the Mimic or whichever ones you got. There are a few monsters that are more rare than others, and some of them, like these bottom ones, these dragons, look a little bigger, maybe. There's the adventurers, the bigger figures, player characters, I guess you would say, and then there's the creatures. And you also get this little card that tells you a little bit about the creature and some of his abilities. I am not aware that you can use this as a type of game in and of itself, but it does give off some of the things that this mimic could do. Some of the abilities he has: copies objects, he chomps, disguises and attacks, sticky tongue, and he slurps. And so gives you a little bit of information about our mimic. As you can see, it comes in this really cool bag that has some Dungeons and Dragons-esque items on it. And since it is a figure you put together, well, yeah, the mimic, you get to put him together too, I guess, at least his tongue. It comes in separated compartments in this bag. And there is our mimic. As you can see, he's not huge. A Lego minifigure next to him would make for a really, really large chest. So you can kind of get an idea of what you're looking at there. So it'd really be majorly too big for a traditional Dungeons and Dragons miniature. Unless, of course, you were taking your crew of players through a dungeon where everything was really, really large. Then you could have a giant mimic boss, I guess, which that'd be kind of cool to do. Kind of creative there. Let's see what other parts we got to attach to this guy. Obviously, we're going to have a tongue in there. Guessing that's what that is. You also get a 20-sided dice in all of these figures, and so far I've gotten different colors. Nothing crazy or really special about these dice. They're just everyday, colorful, run-of-the-mill D20s. Once you snap his tongue in, there is our finished mimic. And so far, that chart and the number system is right. Let's check out our other one and see if we get a gelatinous cube. I had put a little tear in the last one so it was easy to open. We're going to take this one out with the knife. What would have been cool is if they had made several different type of D20 capsules that these come in, so you could kind of collect some different giant D20s, but pretty much these are the same pattern. Now, the coloring is going to be different on each one probably, so I guess there is some uniqueness to them, but overall they're pretty much the same D20. Let's see what is inside here. I'll hold off on showing you the sticker for this one for surprise effect. But pretty quickly you'll be able to figure out which this one is. And you will be pleasantly surprised to know that the chart online is correct. D20. Similar, but different colors. There's our two D20s up against each other, so you do get a different color in each figure. You never have too many D20s, right? Last part of our gelatinous cube is the skull. There is our gelatinous cube. I'm guessing that the holes here are if you want to stick some weapons in there, kind of sticking out, or if you want to get one of your characters trapped in there. Of course, now it looks like we've got a gelatinous cube armed and ready to attack. The gelatinous cube is interesting in that this part just kind of sits on him. Still very cool though. Here is the sticker set you get with the gelatinous cube and the little information card. He swallows you up. He's a cube of goo. He's hard to see. He eats anything. Of course he does. Don't stumble into the block of jelly or you'll never stumble out. One thing that I did not show you earlier, on the back of the checklist, there's actually kind of a little adventure game. Kind of gives you an idea a little bit of what D&D dice rolling is like. It says, first, build your creature. Then read the creature facts. Now you're ready for your adventure. And then you are encouraged to say what happens next. You're going to try to escape. You're going to try to make friends with it, climb a tree, and then you can roll your D20 that you got and figure out what happens. Oh no, disaster at work, sort of. Great job, it works. Wow, something amazing happened. Then you continue your quest, kind of prompting kids to use their imagination and do some adventuring. So there are our two D&D questers. Overall, these I think are really cool collectibles. They're very stylized, as you can see, and just really fun. They look great on display, or maybe you can figure out a way to use them in your campaign as miniatures. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I would love to hear from you in the comments. Because whether it's about Lego, whether it's about Dungeons & Dragons, or about these D&D questers, let me know what you think. Let me know what's going on. Have a great week, and until next time, keep building.